Hey guys, so today I wanted to share with you 5 styles of brushes that you need to do your eyes. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for brush videos recently, and it just feels like a little easier to kind of like distill them into groups, I guess. So these are basically gonna be like my 5 favorite styles, and I'm going to be including like cheaper alternatives as well. Okay, so some of these might be like not so obvious or like very specific brushes that I like absolutely need. So the first one is a big fluffy blending brush. Now a lot of people use like the MAC 217 as a benchmark for your like blending brush, but I would say that's like obvious, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like mid-sized brush, obvious. I'm talking something bigger than that. So my examples are the Wayne Goss number 16 brush, which obviously Wayne Goss so expensive, Rephr 27, and then we have the Morphe M521 brush. So they're all pretty much the same size, but these are bigger than like I don't think I even have a MAC 217, but this is a Morphe M433 for reference because it's basically the same kind of brush. So these are much bigger. And these are necessary when it comes to blending because a lot of the time you can go in with like your transition shade with a smaller brush like this guy, but so often you need to go in and like sort of erase, or sometimes this is just like a little too small for your eye area. So it ends up just kind of like placing a little too much pigment down, or maybe it's just like it's a little too concentrated because it's smaller. So sometimes you just have to go in with a slightly larger brush to blend around edges. That's what these are fantastic for. And I will link all of these down below. What I will say is, as far as like how the bristle quality, obviously like the Wayne Goss is going to be the best. Like it's incredibly soft. It's a little more like tapered, like the shortest bristle comes all the way down at the bot, like right there. I would say number 2, obviously Rephr. It's great blending brushes. I love these so much, but they're not quite as soft, but they're a very good like middle point. And then Morphe, this is a great blending brush. It's very affordable and accessible, but it's just not, it's a little more rough. Like if I go from touching the Wayne Goss brush to the Morphe brush, it's like, ow. You know what I mean? So you have to keep the quality in mind. I personally think that this is an absolute must for doing your eyes. Now, obviously, like the size of this brush is going to depend on your actual eye, like how much room you have going on. This might be way too big, but regardless, I think that having like a really big fluffy brush is going to be really important when you're like trying to blend around this part, whether you're like smoking it out like crazy or not. All right, next up, shading brush. Shading brush? Is that what you call this? I'm using my Sigma E54 medium sweeper brush as the benchmark for this because this one in particular, like this one that I'm holding, I have had for probably 6 years. It is the best for like packing anything on your lid. This is literally like, I have probably 4 of them, and I always grab this when I'm going to pack anything on my lid, whether it's matte, whether it's shimmer, whether it's foil. It's an amazing brush. Sigma is near and dear to my heart. I think they have incredible qualities, but they can be expensive. I wanted to share some alternatives as well. So if you get like up close, these are all pretty much the same size. I'm actually using this one as a lip brush right now, but so they're flat, like pretty fat this way, and then you turn them and they get a little bit thinner. Now, obviously these two are a little bit thinner on the sides, and this one's a little bit more like fluffy ever so slightly, but that's really just because it's so incredibly old. And it's been, it's just been used so much and washed so many times, so it's just a little like roughed up. But this kind of brush is, in my opinion, necessary for packing shadows on the lid. I don't know how anyone uses anything else. They're also like super versatile. Like I said, I'm using this one as a lip brush right now. It is the thinnest and it's like pretty flexible. This one is a little bit thicker and maybe a little bit packed more tightly. They're also, I believe, it's synthetic bristles, which is really going to like pick up those pigments, whether it's like I said, matte or foiled. And there's just something about like the dome shape of it that really just like picks up the pigments and like really puts them down. I don't know how to describe it. This one from Rephr is a little bit flatter. It's actually really good for like underneath the lower lash line doing this kind of thing, and so is this, but these work really well as well. This is a Morphe brush. It doesn't have a name, but it's from their like gold collection, and I'm gonna try to like link all the, like, everything that I can find that I would put under this category down below, because this is a necessity. Just something this shape, necessity. Next up is a smudge brush. A smudge brush. Something this shape. It's kind of like domed a little bit, not quite a pencil brush, but like almost. So I have two. This one is from BH Cosmetics, and I think it is called the Smudge Brush. And then this one right here is from ColourPop. This is the E28. And they're just kind of like domed pencil brushes almost. Like they're just not quite as, you know, pointed as a pencil brush. But these are excellent for along the lower lash line. Like especially if you're trying to smoke out. Or if you're trying to like smudge like a darker shade, like along your lash line. They're just like something that I never really thought I needed. I was always using a really, really flat brush for my lower lash line, or like kind of like a more dense, fatter, flatter smudge brush, if that makes sense, for my lower lash line. And when I started using something like this, it's just like, because the bristles are ever so slightly longer, you're able to like see what you're doing better. You're not covering up that area, you know? So it just allows for a lot more precision. I also really like using brushes like this to apply my inner corner highlight, because I like kind of a packed inner corner highlight, you know? And these are also synthetic bristles, so they're really gonna be good at like picking up pigment and packing it down. But they're also like domed a bit, so they blend really nicely. So I think these are necessity. Okay, next one this is number 4. Is something that I remember when I first started doing my makeup, and pretty much as far as blending brushes went, I had my like MAC 217, and then I think I had something like a little bit bigger than that, and I was like, I need something small. Like I need a tiny blending brush. There's all this detail that I'm missing. And when I finally got one, life-changing, okay? So I have 4 to share with you, because various ranges in price. But they're all pretty much the same idea. I have some like pretty good dupes as well. These are significantly tiny compared to, like, for instance, a MAC 217 or a Morphe M433. So here's your Morphe M433. You can see the difference in size. These are just like way more precise. And they're pretty much all like dome shaped. So like all the same all the way around when you twist them. The Wayne Goss number 20 brush, which is incredible. Like I've said, so soft, and I use this all the time. We have the Refer number 13 brush. And then some cheaper alternatives, once again, the Morphe Gold collection. We just have like a tiny blending brush. They have this brush in a lot of Morphe collections. And then finally, we have an e.l.f. appearance. This is the Detail Crease brush. So perfect size. And it's got, I would say that it's a little bit more concentrated on the ends, maybe a little bit more stiff. For instance, the Wayne Goss and the Refer brushes are a little more like fluffy. They give you a little more wiggle room, so it's gonna be a lot easier to blend, but you're paying more. But if you're looking for, if like e.l.f. is in your budget, the Detail Crease brush is incredible. Like it's tiny, it's that perfect size, and these are really versatile. Like not only can you get detail in your crease, like especially if you're trying to blend out like the top of a cut crease, or if you're trying to do like a smoky liner, or you can use this on your lower lash line as well, or for your inner corner brow bone highlight. Like you can use it for all kinds of things. But I can tell you right now that once I got a blending brush that was this size, totally changed my game. Totally. I just feel like the world was my oyster. So many makeup looks that I had been wanting to do that required more detail, I could finally do them. So once again, a necessity. And then finally, because I only have one brush that's really like this is the Refer number 3 brush, and it's amazing. Let's get you a little up close and personal. It's like a really tiny pencil brush, if that makes sense. Like very pointed, really tiny. What can I compare it to? Like for instance, here's the BH Smudge Brush. See the difference? Super tiny, nice and pointed on the ends, but it's like really, really soft and flexible. I used this today on the outer and inner corner of my lower lash line. Sometimes I even use it to add like a little bit of an extension. This is a liner today, so it's, I mean, I kind of did it with this, but like they would be lying if I said that was whatever. Anyway, also smudging, like doing a smoky liner. It's a really great like brush for blending out your lips. inner corner highlight if you want more precision. It's amazing, and I've never really had a brush that's like this. Like a lot of the pencil brushes that I've had are, I feel like, kind of more stiff and maybe a little bit fatter at the bottom, you know? So they end up just not being blendy. Not being blendy. This is blendy as fuck. It's so blendy. So once again, it's the only one that I really have that's like this, but ever since I started using it, I feel like I can't live without it. So something little and blendy. All right, guys. So those are the 5 eye brush styles. I was like, what am I calling this? Eye brush styles? Types of eye brushes that I think everyone should have. Hopefully they weren't like so obvious. I know some of the blending brushes like are, but they're all just like level, what the fuck? They all level up your game. Thank you. Like if you're missing a brush, if you've been doing a technique for a really long time and you're like, I don't understand, I'm doing everything that everyone is saying, but it's just not working, could potentially be that you need a different brush. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, I know that a lot of these can be expensive. I will say that investing, like I said, I've had that Sigma brush for like 6 years. Investing in good quality brushes is exactly that. It's an investment. It's gonna cost a lot, but they are going to last you. But if your budget is lower, Elf, Morphe, fantastic. Great options. Linking all of that stuff down below. Yeah, I would love to hear what your like top 5 style of eye brushes are. Like the ones that you just like absolutely cannot live without, or just like your top 5 eye brushes, I guess, would make that like a little easier. Like if there's a style that you think is missing from here, let me know. I hope this helped maybe some beginners, and let me know if you want to see more like categories like this, like for the face or specifically for the cheeks. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, bye.